while we're going to share some examples from huge farms, the solutions can be used in your backyard as well as entire bioregions. This is one of the advantages of permaculture. If you understand how our conventional growing methods make it harder to grow things over the long term, you can design your garden to be regenerative. These concepts can be used even if you never garden. Growing food is only one area of life that permaculture addresses. Permaculture principles are universal and can be applied to increase resilience in any aspect of life. To understand how to create abundance, it's helpful to understand how soils are harmed, and then how do we do the opposite? Tilling the soil has been very accepted practice for hundreds of years, but when we till the soil, we destroy all the life in it. It's a form of genocide of life in that field. Tilling makes it easy to plant corn and other seeds in a monocrop system, but it makes it harder to maintain these plants year after year without external support, like poisons and chemical fertilizers. There are three things that plant roots need to thrive. Those are air, water, and nutrition. When you remove plant roots from systems by tilling or clearing fields, you remove what nature uses to create air, water, and nutrition. In other words, nature and the plant roots themselves provide their own needs. This is the brilliance of nature. In prairies, where much of our corn, wheat, and soy are grown now, there used to be tall grasses with a huge variety of plants. The grasses were perennial, meaning they come back every year, just like your lawn does. The roots of grasses would reach 6 to 18 feet deep. In the winter, when grasses die back, so would some of the roots, building a rich organic soil that holds water like a giant sponge and provides plenty of nutrients. When we remove those grasses and replace them with annual crops that die every year, we remove all of those soil building benefits. These annual crops now need additional sources of nutrition to continue to produce, which must come from outside of the system. When we disturb the soil every year, we also kill the soil food web, a complex web of microscopic and visible creatures that help build the beautiful topsoil and also help retain moisture and nutrients in the system. They're even able to break up clay or sand and access those nutrients, thus making minerals available to plants that they otherwise couldn't access on their own. It's a very symbiotic system. This soil food web creates massive support and thus resilience for plants. It can help plants fight off diseases and pests in different ways. In many cases, those friendly creatures eat the pests or disease bacteria. Just as friendly gut bacteria helps humans absorb nutrients better and fight off infection, soil life can create balanced nutrition with trace minerals. When you kill the soil food web and feed plants chemicals, which almost all of our farming does, this is like you living on vitamins or chemical food without any of the enzymes or trace minerals found in fresh foods. The soil becomes more compacted because of lack of permanent root systems and other soil life. It has less air, water, and nutrients, which now must be artificially created every year with plowing, fertilizer, irrigation, etc. By working against nature, we create more work for ourselves, more expense, and more damage to the planet. Another thing that tilling does is to release both carbon and nitrogen into the atmosphere. We're wasting nitrogen, which then must be artificially brought back into the system with chemical fertilizers derived from mining and processing of oil and gas. So we're putting even more pollution up into the air to replace what we just released. Even in organic fields, manure is often derived from CAFO factory animal farms, rife with their own set of pollution problems. But there's more. Disturbed soil is also the exact type of soil that tough weeds are programmed to grow in. Nature offers these weeds to disturbed and degraded areas as something that can survive these tough conditions and help rebuild the soil so that other things can grow. These weeds are an essential component of survival in a natural system. They can grow without any fertilizer and often even no water sometimes. They can grow in compacted, damaged soil and sometimes are the only thing that can. So we have now created the conditions with tilled soil whereby we are forced to use herbicides to get rid of these weeds that we gave more access to by our farming methods. All of this together creates a constantly worsening system that needs more and more intervention to get the same results. I met a farmer in South Dakota when working on the Pine Ridge Reservation there, who had just purchased a $300,000 tractor that injects chemical nitrogen into the soil. He needed to add this form of fertilization per him because his soil has continued to degrade. Can you imagine taking on a $300,000 bank load on equipment when nature could do that job with the right design for free? So to sum up, support and rebuilding of living soil is a key part of working with nature to increase your own abundance with less work and expense. Permaculture offers many tools to heal degraded soil and to create living ones. By understanding how nature builds soil permanently with weeds and with other elements, we can replicate those systems. Permaculture founder Bill Mollison traveled the world for years studying permanent cultures defined as cultures that have survived for hundreds or thousands of years in many different settings. He found common denominators throughout these systems, and this became the birth of permaculture design. Permanent agriculture systems include perennial crops like fruit or nut trees, root crops, self-seeding annuals. It's possible to grow corn or wheat or tomatoes or any other annual foods we're familiar with in these systems in a much more sustainable way than we do with monocropping. We'll cover more on that topic later.